Hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Manufactio Nuclear Edition. We finally got a couple of updates, or at least an update that is going to allow us to do a little bit more progression in the pack, and that also allowed us to be able to craft up a bunch of the nuclear science, which we handed in enough to get a couple of little service things going, namely a more stable production of the uranium 235, or at least a guaranteed, I should say, guaranteed production. We last left off, we were getting ready to do a little bit of work here in these, and I've now got them kind of set up the way that I want. And I also added a fourth one down there just so that we can have a reasonable amount of the stuff coming in. They are redstone controlled currently, and they're all off because they have managed to produce at least a menial stock of this kind of stuff, or at least the uranium 235 sitting in their inventories. So I don't want them just running this full. I kind of want to be careful about this again, because running that requires a little bit of the 238, and the 238 we're going to kind of slowly chew through if we're not careful. It is required, or I should say, I've chewed through quite a bit of the irregular uranium grit to make that yellow cake. So I have got a bunch of miners. There's a miner over behind that redstone. There's another one over there. And luckily enough, I did manage to find, and I need to re-update my map now that I've got a few things going. There is a bunch right here is a bunch of uranium tooth, or just the regular uranium ore, and in that there is a number of the uranium nodes, or the uranium ores, the infinite ores from the Tech Guns mod. I think I counted 16 total connected. So as soon as I mine that whole mess out and we send it up, we'll go over there and put another one of our Tech Guns drills on that. And well, we're going to have to play with the solar panels and batteries and all kinds of things to try to figure out how to make that one work continuously. But that should at least produce, I would figure, with the number being set, at least one of those every other second, which would be fine, or at least with the math and the way things work. So we would be able to get a reasonable amount of stuff coming in pretty much continuously, or at least reasonable. It's still going to be kind of slow, but given the amount of how quickly things need to be produced, we're going to have to kind of work on some things. So let's talk about the math. Let's talk about some things that I want to mess with today, or at least mess with as far as things go. We're going to be building at least one nuclear reactor today because we want some of the leftovers that the nuclear reactor is going to produce, and it's a big ugly machine. Now, in here, what we're interested so much for pretty much is going to be the Neptunium 237, so that we can craft energetic crystals, so that we can craft the next 3 layers of energetic, or the efficiency modules. And the 3, 4, and 5, or 4, 5, and 6, versions all require energetic crystals, and energetic crystals and energetic, get it right, energetic crystals require Neptunium 237, an endessence crystal, and a diamond. And all of these are going to go into the efficiency modules, plus the speed upgrades for refined storage. We're going to kind of fool with refined storage here in a little while once we have a reasonable amount of this kind of stuff again, and I want to do a little bit of testing in a test world before I totally, completely, 100% commit to what it's going to require. I think the biggest pain point is going to be that this entire building here is connected to the main system, and I'll have to come up with a way to figure out either whether or not we segregate this back off by itself, or we include this into the entirety of the mess. It's going to take a lot of changing and messing around, and the unfortunacy is it's probably going to have it's going to take a while. I'm just going to say it like that. I'm kind of, again, I'm and on about it because it's going to take a lot of tearing down of a lot of things just to rebuild back what's already here for instantaneous transfer from one end of the base to the other. We'll see. Again, I'm not going to use refined storage for any kind of specific fancy crafting or anything like that. It's part of the whole thing is there's no point given the fact that we have everything built up into assemblers, the only reason why you'd even care about moving away from these is for faster transport, because logistics pipes does everything else that you need it to do aside from this slow transfer. We could go with the faster logi pipes, and I kind of thought about changing those out to do that as well, but the integration between this pipe and the high speed pipes can, well, I'm still not exactly certain it's going to be worth my time. Anyhow, ooh, hey, we got one of those things. I wonder where one of those things came from. What did I get? I got a little bit of a bone meal. Cool. So today what I want to do, we're going to unlock a couple of things, and we're going to build a nuclear reactor. We're going to automate the nuclear reactor so that we can get some more things done. What we're going to do is we're going to unlock the UHV energy ducts and the flexible UHV wiring, because we need to be able to integrate what that's going to produce. Those are going, well, the reactor, the way we're going to run it, it's going to make 10,000 RF a tick, and it's going to run constantly. I don't really care about shutting it down. So in order to be able to do the constantly, we're going to need to have to be able to produce some more, well, it's better, quicker, more easier ways of getting power into the base. And those are going to be with the UHV cables. These UHV cables, the transformers, these cables are going to be capable of doing 16,000 RF a tick just by themselves on a single connection. The UHV relays, or at least from what I have been playing with or messing around with, these are infinite transfer. Well, not infinite transfer, but they're high voltage transfer. But the problem is you have to run them into a transformer to get them from one kind of thing to another. So you can't directly put the cables onto anything. We'll have to mess with it once we get there. So I want to unlock all of that stuff, and then we're going to kind of play around with some things. UHV is going to require 120, and this is going to require 20 of those. Give me that and that. And unlock, thank you. And unlock, thank you. And get that back in there before it goes nuts. I think I might have broke something. Whatever, we'll find out. It'll probably spill stuff all over the place back here somewhere because of that. That's going to allow us to do some things. I'm not building that reactor in this area. I mean, we can, but I kind of want to continue to pollute a section of the world over there, and I'm experimenting with it. And, well, it's, a nuclear reactor. I doubt very seriously it's going to put off any more of the radiation than anything else is, but what it's going to output is going to produce a reasonable amount of radiation. It's kind of polluted over there, and I'm not really impressed with just what I've managed to obtain over there, which is not a whole lot, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Let's start with this, since we can build the reactor. These two things right here, we're going to need to make this. So the use on you is, can I make you without the other ones? No. MV energy ducts, those are the ones we currently have, correct? How does this work? I kind of thought these followed. So the HVs are 20. So those are MV energy ducts that go into the HV energy duct, and then those go into those wires there. So you can completely skip that line. Interesting. Because that's an MV energy duct, of which we are producing quite a few. Oh, we're going to have to build that mess in order to make this work, aren't we? Yes, which means carbon fiber plates, which means hop graphite, which means all of the wonderful fun stuff that goes with that mess. Okay, so that gives us a little direction as to what we want to do then. Crap. Because the HV wire coils, again, as always, with anything that goes with immersive engineering, they lose power over distance. And I believe, even for that matter, these advanced energy relays right here will lose power over distance. I've already played with them. I've already messed with them. They're okay. It's another one of those. If you're willing to lose the power over distance, you're fine. If you're building, I don't know, quite compact or a heck of a lot more compact than we are right now, that's gonna be fun. Alrighty, well, let's go do the first thing. Is we're going to go ahead and start making that thing make some power. So I need my where is my induction furnace thing? You, wherever you went. You are right there. Can I get you to load up and fill an induction furnace up? Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and run it with the molten lead so that we can get more of the process for the other stuff. So we'll start with that because there's going to be several things that are going to need to be required to run over there. Let me get a nuclear reactor built, and I will come right back so that we can go build that mess. So U-22. All right, a little discrepancy here. I guess we can make a mention of it very quickly. It says 100 concrete for the nuclear reactor package, but if I use this right here, it will say 64. So that probably needs to be updated. It might just be the way that this is going to show things. I don't know. But there should be a nuclear reactor package. Amazing, cool. Let's uncraft that, craft that into there, and go do this little thing. Ah, there it was. Reactor. All right, let's try this again. We'll go over here, and then you can have that big monstrosity. Let's run over to this section, and let's go see about building this and automating it and do all of the fun stuff. Yes, I understand it's going to burn power and not make anything, or at least not be integrated into the system. I have been testing. It is not really doing much over here. We're sitting at 171 and 258. I've been playing the game for a while this morning, so it should be doing a lot better than it actually is. And for whatever reason, I don't feel like it's doing what it needs to do. Anyhow, let's see. Can I get my chunk boundaries up? I want to put this reactor in this chunk right here. I don't figure it's going to cost us too much as far as pain and suffering, given the fact that the only thing that should be able to push off any kind of stuff on this reactor is going to be whatever you put in it. Okay, we'll do that. Is that all in the chunk? And it's backwards. Or is it forwards? Is it whatever? I don't know. Where's the controller? There's the controller. All right. Pick it up, move it. There. Okay, nice. Everybody's in that chunk. There is a nuclear reactor ready to go. It's a big monstrosity. All we got to do is hook it into the, yeah, dang it, I got to move it again. Hang on. Too far backwards. We'll just do one out. That's a big sucker, man. It's a big one. Yeah, not that I'm really concerned. I just don't want it to be, I want it to be out of the way of everything that we're kind of messing with, but let's see here. Is it inside the chunk? As long as it's inside the chunk completely and the machine doesn't have a problem, we should be good to go. I'll quit. All right, that should be the item output that is going to produce the leftover stuff. This is the input item where we're going to place a bunch of other things in. I need to go ahead put my chunk loader back down, which I guess we can do that here in a little bit. Get this out of the way. You just go in here for now, and we'll deal with you in a little bit. All right, so in order to make this run the way that we want it to run, I'm going to integrate a little bit of ender chest work in between here and the base over here. We're also going to run an induction furnace so that we can produce the liquid lead that we're going to need. And that, I don't know where I'm supposed to hook that into. So that's the power output. I'm guessing that's an output hatch. This is an input hatch. Okay, that means that's going to be over here somewhere. And I probably need to put a few of these back down. This stuff spawns mobs like nuts, so got to be kind of careful with it for right now. All right, so induction furnace, just that portion of it, which is already loaded up. This is the one we've only had for like ever and ever, so rotate it so that the power or the fluid is pointed that direction. Sure. Oh, I got to break one of those. Hang on. Can I get it kind of lined up with the... input like that. Nice. And then do the old flipperoo trick. Thank you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go and build another little baby logistics system over here that is going to interconnect both of these two machines and also interconnect a couple of specific ender chests that I have produced or got us ready to go. So we're going to place this probably like right somewhere somewhere where it makes a little bit of sense anyway. And what we're going to do is we're going to go feed in fuel and lead into this one over here, this one that I have on my thing over here somewhere, and then I'm going to hook it into the rest of the stuff. Let me get some power going over here and some other stuff. Let's, I guess, wire it in, and then I'll come back. I know you guys have watched me build many different things over this time, so let's see what we can do about getting it done reasonably quickly, and I'll be right back. Well, as ugly as that's going to be, that's where that's going to live. Let's go ahead, plumb that up so that it's ready to go. I have most of it. Was a really quick build, actually, so not too terribly hard to get sorted. We're going to need to feed some things into this, and we want to try to keep the things as low count as possible, just to try to maintain lack, or just try not to have too much of the everything else going on. I don't know why I put that up there, but that's fine. We're going to need to supply this with, and I really need to go get the disconnector thingies. It looks terrible. It is what it is. We're going to supply this with two things. And that's going to be pulverized lead at a probably, we'll do say 64, or actually, no, let's not do that. Let's do 32. Because it doesn't really need a lot, and we're going to have to float some of it backwards. We're going to get a bit of it backwards once we get a few things done. So we'll do that. We're also going to supply it with a single fuel cell, single fuel 1, so that's all that we're ever going to put in there. I know it's going to, again, one of those things I might upgrade or adjust that as we go. It might be 2 or 3, just depending on how quickly this works. I'm not going to rely totally on this thing for power, given the fact that we've got like whatever we have downstairs right now, so it's not important to us to be totally, completely, 100% perfect. And then I'm going to stick one of those on the back because we're going to relocate the other parts back to this. All right, you already sucked all that stuff up. It probably already has kicked itself on. Let's make a really fast run over there and see what we've got. All right, let's see. Did it manage to get anything made before it ran out of power? No, probably not. I had an issue where I screwed up and I placed I had a row of solar panels over here hooking some stuff together so that we could actually make a few things work. We're going to power it off the back of the reactor right here because I have this access, and now I need to go restart the game and fix my solar panels because they did that. I crashed the game out because I accidentally stuck something else next to this, and sure, that's going to be amazing, and I got to figure out how I'm going to make that work. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I got a few of those laid down. Let's see if that's enough to get this thing to charge up, kinda. That should be making some, yes, excellent. We should be making some lead, finally. All right, molten lead's going in. Once that gets to a reasonable distance, okay, so that means that thing should have kicked on and ran. We are now full of power. And this should continue to run and make things for us, given on how quickly it can manage to put these fuel cells back in the thing. So that's kind of what we're probably going to have to work on. I'm going to have to make that a little bit more than that. We're going to have to make sure that this thing gets one all the time, given that this takes not very long. It doesn't take very long. Now, I was going to talk about the math, and I don't think we ever got there as far as these go. This is kind of why you want to worry about this a little bit. Every one of these uranium-235s is going to make 15 uranium fuel cells, and every one of these uranium fuel cells is going to burn for, what did I say, 100 ticks, or 5 seconds. So that means you have about 1.25 minutes of runtime off of one single piece of uranium-235. which is an interesting thing, at least with the way we have it set up here. That is 1,200 ticks, or a minute. So one isotope centrifuge, so long as I can manage to keep this in it, should be able to continuously run one reactor with a very, very slight excess on this level of whatever. And this is just going to sit here and fill up full of molten lead and do whatever it needs to do. Now, what I did here intentionally is that this is going to produce, let's go back over here very quickly once again. We're not in any kind of a hurry. I think we're going to actually have plenty of time today. The numbers are a little, I'm not going to worry about so much about the lead, because lead is just, I have tons of lead. I can get all kinds of lead. There's more lead over there than I know what to do with, and I've been trying to figure out what the hell to do with it for the entire time that we've been playing this. But anyhow, what we're going to be concerned about is that we want to make sure that we don't back up the pulverized lead that we're going to be getting out of here. So I set that over there on the other side to only ever allow us to have 32 pulverized lead in the box over there at all times. And I think looking at it now, we're going to update this to at least maybe 2 or 3 of these a minute, because it's going to take it a little while to feed it down here. And actually at this point, I really don't care if it's not really maintaining everything that it needs to maintain. But we shouldn't need this anymore. This will probably pretty much stay full all the time. And even with that little short run, I mean, it's holding, what is that, 500,000 FE, which is perfectly fine for what we're doing. So I will go ahead and remove all of this and go from there as we go on. So I think that's pretty good. That's pretty neat. I may toss an efficiency in this just to kind of save on the power, because in reality, it's not a full 10,000. It's whatever the 10,000 is minus whatever this thing is, pretty much, and plus, well, the construction and building of all of the little parts and pieces and everything else. So we could probably run the nuclear section over there off of this without a problem. And I think the next step is going to be in the next episode. We unlocked the 2 UHV stuff, which is going to be amazing. I have the capability of making the insulated glass. I'm going to work on that. We got the tungsten plate. We have the titanium rods, UHV transformers, tungsten plates, all these kinds of things. We can build all of this. The only problem that I've got right now is I can't build this, because I can't build the UHV ducts, because we do not have heavy radiation shielding, which is going to require us to finally dig into the production of carbon plates, which is hop graphite ingots, which is hop graphite, which is all the fun stuff. I may, and since we've done this 1,000 times on all of our channels or any of these series that we've done, I may just do all that in between episodes, and then we'll start right off with getting that built, because essentially what I want to do is I want to use that long distance cabling to get from this area right here, where we're likely going to build another 2, maybe 3 of these. I don't really know yet exactly how many I want to build, because of the fact that, well, we have those centrifuges. We've got plenty of centrifuges. Technically, I could run 4 of these with excess, which would be 40,000 RF a tick, and it would allow us to produce a reasonable amount of that neptunium, which we're getting, which is good, because those are going to be what we're after. Those are exactly what we're after. I do believe probably next episode for certain we're going to also unlock this recipe and get it going, so that we can start recycling those things, because we don't want them to kind of get stocked up and built up and whatever. But I think for right now, that's where we're going to leave this episode. I've got a lot of work that I'm going to have to do in between. And like I said, I think given how many times I have done the hop graphite ingot process, I think I'm just going to go ahead and, well, we'll just go ahead and build that in between, and then we can talk about it. And then once we get these done, then we can build these, and then we can start talking about running power out into various areas. I do wish there was a way, like some kind of, like, flux networks kind of thing that we could have to push power out over all of the world that we're on, but we don't have that. Doesn't really matter. We're fine. Anyhow, there is a nuclear reactor running on the lead cooling process, and this is me and this is you, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.